he saw Vince McMahon once at Titan Towers, then never saw him again. Unlike Cena and Nash and Foley and others who have been, as we actually said, for a reason as well, in John Cena's case, overly kind to Vince McMahon in regards to the alleged offences. Punk gives a pretty definitive sentiment about McMahon, is that his thoughts are with the victims of McMahon's, and he essentially has nothing positive to say about McMahon. But then Punk also references Chris Benoit, and he says he saw Chris Benoit in the locker room the week before the murder-suicide, where Chris's son Daniel was taping his fist like Punk in tribute to him. And, it's a really fond memory of his. And then, a week happens and Benoit kills himself and his family. And Punk is like, well, yeah, that was a really nice memory, but then Benoit's ruined it. And it doesn't, I had a lot of respect for him, but he killed his family. I cannot have respect for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And because you thought a person was one thing and they turn out to be another, then at least in his mind, you can't really feel affection for that guy anymore. And a lot of people still feel affection for Vince, etc. I want to follow with this, and this sort of relates to it. With Chris Benoit, you'll of course remember in June 2007 or July 2007, the shockwaves that the Benoit murder-suicide sent through the wrestling world and the wider world. In fact, it was headline news even here.
Yep.
Just how close do you believe that Chris Benoit's actions came to inadvertently taking down the wrestling business in the aftermath? Because people have said he could have destroyed the business. That's how serious his actions were.
He couldn't have destroyed the business. I mean, what he did was horrible. Killed his old lady first, didn't he? Didn't he kill the old lady first?
Yeah.
Then he killed his boy the next day, right?
Yeah.
Which goes to show you that he was nuts, legitimately crazy. And I don't know if he had CTE. They said he did. I first met him in Calgary, I don't know, back in the 90s. And I looked down there and he came up and he introduced himself. But I asked somebody, I said, who is that guy? And they said, oh, he's Chris Benoit. And I just heard the name because I think he'd made some shots with Paul Heyman group, ECW.
Yeah.
So, but he really didn't look like, he looked odd. Because if you really look at him in the face, he's a weird looking guy. He's not tall. He's about 5'7", 5'8", maybe. And maybe he would be 200 pounds, not much over that. But I don't think it would have brought the wrestling business down. Hey, the wrestling business has lived through tragedies like this before. I mean, that's almost like saying, well, somebody that does something in auto racing, I'm not going to bring auto racing down. That was just what he did. Or if he's a big star in basketball and he does something. No, it's not going to affect the game. It affects the person. But I don't think that it would hurt pro wrestling at all.
Do you think?
I mean, it doesn't help it. That's for damn sure. No. But I don't think it'd take it down.
Well, maybe not the wrestling business as a whole, because nothing can kill the wrestling business, as we've discussed before. But
because we've tried for 50 years to kill this business, and guess what? We still can't do it.